Am I the a-hole for wanting to divorce my husband because he thinks he's Napoleon? Okay, so I 32F have been with my husband, David 34M, for about 6 years, married for 3. David has always been a bit eccentric, but recently, he's taken it to a whole new level. About a month ago, he started acting strangely, stranger than usual. Anyway, he'd randomly talk about military strategies over dinner and get really intense, like he was planning a major battle. At first, I thought he was just diving deep into one of his historical hobbies, but then he started dressing up. I'm talking full-on military uniform, complete with a hat. He now insists on being called Emperor around the house. He refuses to answer to David, which has created some extremely awkward situations when we're out. One time, we were at a restaurant, and he kept calling the server Josephine and asking her to fetch his battle maps from the back. She looked so confused, and I was mortified. I told him he was embarrassing me, but he insisted that the emperor has no shame. It gets worse. Last week, he set up this whole area in our living room with what he calls Napoleon's command center. There's a map of Europe spread across the floor, tiny toy soldiers, flags, and notes pinned to the walls. He spends hours in there, muttering to himself and moving the little pieces around, as if he's re-strategizing for the Battle of Austerlitz. When I try to talk to him about it, he insists that I'm the one who's lost touch with reality, and that he has the soul of the great Napoleon. He says I should be honored to have married a man of such valor and wisdom. Things hit a breaking point when I invited my family over for dinner last weekend. My parents and brother came, hoping for a normal family night, but David had other plans. He insisted on holding the entire evening as court, where he sat at the head of the table giving speeches and talking about his plans for conquest. He even tried to get my dad to call him Your Majesty. My family was visibly uncomfortable, and when I tried to step in, David got upset and declared me a traitor to the empire. Then he bought a horse. Yes, an actual horse. He named it Marengo, after Napoleon's horse, and I figured it was just going to live at the stable where he bought it. But no, David tried to ride Marengo to the grocery store. I got a call from the store manager saying my husband had shown up on horseback and was demanding entry to survey the local provisions. They'd threatened to call the police if he didn't leave, and when I got there, he acted like I was the one overreacting. I tried to get him to see a therapist, but he flat out refused, claiming Napoleon has no need for such nonsense. I love him, but I feel like I'm living in a historical reenactment I didn't sign up for. Every day, it's like there's less of the man I married and more of this bizarre character he's created. Some of my friends think this is hilarious and say he's just going through a phase that will pass. Others think I need to leave him, that this whole Napoleon thing is some kind of mental break, and I'm just enabling it by sticking around. But every time I think about leaving, I feel guilty. After all, isn't marriage supposed to be for better or worse? Am I the a-hole for wanting to divorce my husband over this? Is it wrong to think that my future with him shouldn't involve playing second fiddle to his imaginary empire? Part of me wonders if I should stay and keep trying, but then I remember him demanding that I call him my lord at breakfast yesterday.